Hello everyone, today we're going to be having a look at a series between Neeb and Vanya. Vanya is a Russian player, up-and-coming Zerg, probably the best Russian Zerg, might possibly be the best Russian player overall. If there's one thing you need to know about Vanya, is that he likes to get down and dirty real fast in games. He loves to do early roach attacks. He's a big fan of the roach in general. See him use it loads of times. Likes proxy hatches, likes early game shenanigans, whether that's with roaches or lots of links. Just likes to make sure that the game doesn't last too long. On the other hand, of course, we have Neeb. He's the pinnacle of macro play, I want to say. Likes to open the same opener every single game. He's especially Stargate openers he's a big fan of these days. Phoenix into 2 oracles, or just 2 oracles into a robo. Very, very standard play. Neeb scouts the hatchery on the 3rd base location. Now, something special about this 3rd base location is that there is a rich Vespene geyser giving double the gas for every single trip. We see Vanya is taking 1 gas in the main base. It's possible he takes his 2nd gas over here. I've seen people take this as their natural and then skip the gas in the main and only get a gas at their natural because it gives so much more gas. They don't want to be wasting precious mining time getting gas over here, but this will of course allow Zerg for a very, very fast, just for a regular time speed with this gas, and then you can take this gas later on for either some kind of queen roach walk, or you can take it the moment you chase away the probe, or even in probe vision perhaps. I would love Neeb to come back to this, just stay on top of this ramp, make sure the 2nd gas isn't being taken, because the moment this gas is being taken, that indicates some kind of attack, and most likely a Ravager attack, because out of the units in the early game for Zerg, the only unit that costs more gas than minerals is the Ravager. So the moment you see something like this is, to me, a clear indicator that there is going to be a Ravager attack. Now it's going to be a 2-base Ravager attack. Neeb is going to be able to spot this out, and that should give him all the information that he needs. 2nd gate is starting immediately. There is a Stargate already on the way as well. I would love to see... I'm not a big fan of adepts against this. I think Stalkers are the way to go when you play against someone who's opening up with most likely a lot of Ravagers. Stalkers do a little extra damage. They have better range. They don't die as much. Well, extra damage against roaches at least. We have a 2nd gateway, not quite done yet. No batteries are starting either, which is a bit surprising. Neeb is actually going to... What? He will decide to build batteries outside. I'm not a big fan of that. Oracle is on the way as well. I do enjoy that. 2nd Oracle will get supply blocked as this pylon is a little too late. But I feel like this pylon is just going to be too late. Batteries are going to be too late. There's 1 battery over here. There's 3 adepts. Still not a single Stalker. And adepts do so little damage. So little damage against roaches and Ravagers. Against queens as well. They do fine against links, of course, but these 2 batteries are going to be a little late. 2nd Oracle is on the way. Could have been out already if he hadn't been supply blocked. Now, these 2 batteries are no way they're gonna finish. A couple of biles hit on top of the 1st battery. 2 more adepts are on the way, but first Ravager does not go down as a transfuse was used. There's a 2nd transfuse available, a couple of more biles on top of this pylon. Depowers both of these batteries. There's no batteries available anymore here for Neeb. Both of the gateways do end up finishing, turning into warp gates, but finally we have some Stalkers being warped in. This might be fine. 37 workers for Neeb, who went really hard on the workers, but should have been going a bit harder on the batteries. It feels like. 1 more pylon does go down. It's still possible that he holds this, but without any battery energy, without any oracle energy, it does seem kind of hard. Queens are moving forward, and as there's no production anymore right here for Neeb, I think this is probably going to be it for game number 1. 1 oracle does join. Still floating 600 minerals as well. Would love to see those used basically in any way. And whether that's extra batteries in the main base or just adding 1 or 2 gateways. Try to use those minerals as much as possible, but yeah, I just don't think it's going to be enough. And this was scouted relatively early. Just felt like Neeb's reaction started a bit too late. That pylon outside for those batteries over there was just 25 seconds too late. I don't really like the adept composition either. I think that definitely was a mistake. But perhaps he can fix his play in the next 2 or 3 games. Alright everyone, welcome back to game number 2 between Neeb and Vanya. So we have Vanya up 1-0 and Neeb opening up with a gas first. Now gas first is a clear indicator that we're not going to be see any kind of scout. And the reason you get gas first if you don't get a scout is because you have slightly too many probes, which you want to on your minerals usually if you don't scout, and you want to be using that probe into the gas. So you see right now there's going to be 60 minerals on probes, and usually the gas would be too late to kind of accommodate this 17th worker straight into the gas. So that's why you play gas first when you don't scout. If you do scout, of course, you have 1 less probe, so that's not really an issue. The moment you have 17 probes, the gas is done as well. The standard 16 gate, 17 gas. But here you see 15 gas, 16 gate, very common at the high level. Clear indicator that indeed there's not going to be a scout from the probes, or at least not a scout before the cyber core. So we kind of call that no scout, as it dies to any kind of early game aggression from a 12 pool. It can be fine against proxy hatches. It can be okay against 14 pools as well, I believe, even though it's kind of tricky. Here we have Neeb moving across the map, so it's going to be a core scout, which is very common. Still getting some information at least. And something that so you might be wondering, well, what does this worker do if you're going to die against the 12 pool anyway? The one thing it does do is that you can check the ling movement of your opponent, you can check the gas count, you can see if they have a third base. So there's like 2-3 things that you can scout out, but yeah, for the early game, nothing much changes with this scout, right? The links would have already arrived if it was a 12 or 14 pool, so most likely you just would have died. 8 links are on the way, so this probe might be proving his worth very quickly. Takes a little bit too much damage, won't be able to swoop around back to make sure that there is no links. It's going to be a link flood here out of Vanya, like I said. He likes to all-in early on. Likes to do these early pressure builds. Well, pressure builds, all-ins. Let's just call them what they are. Identify what he does. It's definitely all-ins. We see Vanya that's something cute where he actually sent a couple of drones from his main base to his natural. So if Neeb would scout with his adept, and usually scout in the mineral line, he would have seen, hey, there's 6-7 workers here. That's pretty standard. And you wouldn't be able to say, hey, this is a link flood purely based on that. And that's kind of a big thing, you know. This is, here, once again, Vanya sending down 4 workers. And it does cost him a little bit of money, because of course, during the time they're transferring, they're not gaining any minerals. But you see Vanya is not lacking any kind of money. The main thing is larva. Majority of the time right now he's lacking some money, but yeah, most of the time the real limiting factoring link floods is larva indeed, as we see only 1 larva and 170 minerals. 3 adepts are out, there is an oracle out. I mean, this is the absolute perfect setup, the best setup that Neeb could hope for. Warp gate is almost done as well. Oracle, I want to say, is used a little bit too early, but I don't think it really matters. Warp gate does end up finishing. 2 more adepts can start soon. Oracle still going ham with the 3-4 energy he has left. We'll get up to 6 kills for now. Sentry being built here. 2 sentries being built. There's no actual follow-up for the cybercore. Like, there's no secondary cybercore. I would love to see another cybercore being built, because without a cybercore, all you can really warp in is zealots, which is, I mean, they're good, but you want to be warping in stuff behind your SimCity, right? That can attack behind it. This zealot is going to be kind of useless for that. We do have a cybercore going down right now. No third oracle is on the way, which surprises me a little bit as well. And the DPS is going to be enough for Vanya to just tap out, as Neeb ties up the series in 2 very short games, honestly. So 1-1 for now. Let's head into game number 3. Alright, back with game number 3. Between the top right spawning as the blue Zerg, it's going to be Vanya, playing for team B100. And in the bottom left spawning as the red Protoss, it's going to be Neeb, playing for Ting, of course. See Vanya moving out with that first Overlord once again. And this time we're not going to be seeing any kind of rich Vesp or gas first play out of Neeb. Also no rich Vespine Geyser play so far out of Vanya, who will just be taking his hatchery at the natural. There is a rich Vespine base here as well, but it's a little far and a little out of the way to take. It also doesn't quite give the same aggressive opportunities as it does on Everdream, because the road from here to the natural is a lot longer than it is on Everdream, with an annoying ramp that doesn't quite help. So Vanya not opting for that this time around. Instead we'll just be playing a hatchery first. We see Neeb slowly rallying into that gas, only a single worker. Usually would indicate that it's most likely going to be a Twilight opener, but Neeb seems to just like a higher mineral count in general. Now, the reason I say why usually you see fast 2 workers in this gas is because the thing that limits your build order when you're playing a Stargate opener usually is gas. Like, you don't have enough gas for the Warp Gate, not enough for the Stargate. So a lot of the time you see 2 workers quickly being sent into gas to kind of offset that high gas count in the Stargate opener. But I just know Neeb really likes opening Stargate, so I'd be surprised if he wouldn't open Stargate this game. He's been a fan of it and has actually only exclusively been playing it, even though the Glaive build is probably a lot more popular and slightly more viable right now at the highest level. We do see Neeb sticking to his guns. Oh, we don't see him stick to his guns. This is a Warp Gate opener. Now this could be a Warp Gate still into Stargate, but oh yeah, it is. Wow. That's odd. So usually when people play Stargate, the reason this confused me is when people play Stargate is they usually skip Warp Gate. But Neeb tried to fake by going Warp Gate first and then cancelling it and then starting his Stargate. But I mean, Vanya can definitely see the animation here of that Cyber Core. And he knows that Warp Gate was temporarily cancelled once again. So I don't think Vanya will be tricked by this very much, honestly. If he would be, I'm gonna be very, very surprised. Now, Vanya pulling out a gas, keeps 2 workers in for now. First Adept of Neeb tries to do some scouting. Very important. Does Vanya have any links? He only has 2 links, jeez. Talking about greed. Does have 6 more links on the way now, because there's a second Adept that also got chrono boosted. But these 2 won't be able to do very much. You already know once he sends in a single Adept initially that it's going to be rough for him. He's going to be so late with these 2 Adept shade-in. He actually is going to commit to it. That seems weird. Link speed is very late as well here for Vanya. Does actually commit with the 2 Adepts and gets 2 workers. Not quite worth it. Usually if you sacrifice the first 2 Adepts, you want to get at least 3 workers and a bit of a drone pool away from the mineral line, or you want to get 4 workers without a little bit of a drone pool. That's kind of how I feel. Usually it's like, alright, that's fine then, you know. If he pulls away his drones and I kill 3, that's kind of okay. If I just kill 4, then that's also kind of fine. But only 2, I think that's definitely in the advantage of the Zerg player. Now the reason for that is that it delays the 3rd base for the Protoss by actually a fair amount, and it also forces the TOS to keep his Oracle at home, because usually you'd be able to just take this with your 2 or your 4 or your 5 Adepts, however many you get. 2, 3, 4, 5 is actually impossible before Warp Gate finishes, but you can get this very fast. Right now Neeb had to take 2 extra gases, get a Robo, and we see a 430 Nexus, which is pretty late actually these days. I think 4 is very standard. Showtime plays that a lot. I play that a lot. Which, I'm a big fan of my own play, so I suggest that. Fast Nexus. 2 Pylons will be able to wall in this single Adept. Something else that you don't really need to do if you would have had, let's say, still 4 or 3 Adepts alive, right? You only would have needed the single Pylon. So a lot of money being invested and a lot of time being invested in in defending that third base. That is already a little bit delayed. Now, we're gonna see a pickup. No, we're not gonna see a pickup. We see Neeb just flying around for a bit. Needs to be careful. Almost loses an Oracle there and barely gets anything done. Guess what? 3 workers so far with this thing. Well, he killed 2 workers early as well, so I guess he killed 2 links as well with this Oracle, because it does have 3 kills. Interesting. The Oracles do go back home as he's a little bit afraid of something. Phoenix is on the other side of the map, mainly functioning as a spotter right now. Vanya should be able to whisk it away soon though, as you don't want to have a Phoenix just spotting everything you're doing for free. Phoenix is flying around trying to get some information, flies into spore range, flies into 2 queens. He really needs to be careful. There's 2 spores in the main here for Vanya, which I do like. This map can be difficult to defend all bases. Evo Chamber does end up going down. Roaches have started, as well as a 4th base. Rich Vespine Geyser, usually quick tip. If you see Zerg players get a quick Vespine Geyser before their 4th is on, a lot of the time this does indicate a Spire play. Spire has not gone down yet, but you don't really need that much gas for anything else. Like, it's nice to have extra added gas for your Baneling count or to get a lot of Ravagers, but a lot of the time, if you do see a Roach opener and you see a Rich Vespine Geyser this early, I'd suggest scouting for a Spire as well. We actually don't see a Spire, so Vanya surprising me a little bit there. Oh, here we go. Like clockwork. Beautiful. We have a little bit of a Roach move out here. 14 Roaches are on the map. 71 workers are out as well. Oh, I kind of like the way that Vanya is doing this. So this is not a quick Spire. Usually Mutas could be out at 7:10 or 7:20, which would be kind of a quick Spire, fast layer, quicker Spire off of 3 bases. But this is going to be a fake Roach all-in basically, where Vanya just has a lot of pressure on the map. He has a lot of Roaches, which keep Neeb kind of on his side of the map on the back foot, and might be difficult for him to get a 4th base setup. You know, it scares him a bit, and usually when people are scared, they scout a little less, because, you know, they want to use the energy of the sentries on hallucinations perhaps. They want to be, you know, they keep their oracles at home defensively as well. We do see a prism across the map, which might be able to spot something out here. There is a Spire almost done right now. We see Vanya once again going in as that Spire is about to finish up, wants to make stuff happen. The less time Neeb has to play, the better it is for Vanya. Or the less time Neeb has to scout, sorry. 6 more Roaches are on the way. 2 more Overlords as well. This Prism will be able to spot the Spire. Does spot it. 11 Mutas are on the way. Another Phoenix does start immediately, so good reactions here coming out of Neeb, who has a 4th base on the way on the high ground. We do have cannons coming up as well. I would love to see... I much prefer battery and a cannon rather than just 2 cannons. Yes, I do like that battery. That's very nice. Because the moment you have Phoenixes, you do need to heal them at times as well. So I'd love to see a battery per base always. It's going to be able to get a pretty decent Phoenix count out as well. Here we see Vanya catching Neeb slightly out of position. We'll be able to get a cancel on this 4th base. Not the biggest of deals. Neeb doesn't really need a 4th base at this point. What he really needs is a solid defense and to not lose any expensive units basically. And as long as that happens, it's going to be completely fine. We have Vanya coming in with... That's a lot of Mutalisk, holy crap. 19 Mutas. There's 3 Phoenixes out for Neeb. Where are they? And they are the natural. There's a bunch of Stalkers at the natural as well. There is a Fleet Beacon as well as a 2nd Stargate. This should do absolutely nothing. Perfect defense here by Neeb so far. Who really only needs to survive. If I was Neeb, I'd give up this 4th base. I mean, the work account for Vanya is really low. There's no transitions coming in. You guys are doing pretty okay actually over here. There's still 3 Phoenixes alive, but 4th Phoenix is far away. Battery is out of energy at this point. 4th base does fall once again for Neeb. Neeb should not be losing those Archons. Those are very expensive and very important. Vanya doing a lot of damage with these Mutas, which is odd. I felt like Neeb had a really good preparation. There is 4 Phoenixes still. Workers start falling right now as the cannons do go down. Phoenixes come in. And we see Neeb lost a lot of his Archons on the other side. Together with his 4th base. This is why... oh my god, he's losing all of Phoenix, this might be it. I mean, there's still a bunch of Stalkers that try to do something. Another Phoenix does fly in. Does not die. Gets saved by the battery. Just barely, though. A couple more Stalkers here, but 12 workers have gone down. How many Mutas is there still on the map? So 8 Mutas. 8 more Mutas on the way. 16 Mutas have gone down and 3 Archons. 11 Stalkers and 5 Phoenixes. Now, second Stargate is done at this point. Phoenix range could start being researched. Once again, we still see Vanya just on 69 workers, which is a really low worker count. Actually staying on 3 base and just going for a max push against it is a completely viable play for Protoss. But Neeb keeps bleeding out unit after unit, and if you want to play like that with those 3 bases and a max push, you do need to keep all your important units alive. So you just get your static defense at the 3rd base, you make sure your natural is safe from Mutalisk. Doesn't really seem to be the case, as once again Mutas are breaking through, Stalkers are dying. At the same time the Roaches are breaking through, so Vanya actually winning at 2 fronts at the same time, in the air, on the ground. The only thing remaining is in the sea, but there's no water on this map, so I don't think that's going to be the case. A lot of Immortals holding strong on this base, but 10 workers once again did fall here. Mutas sweeping back in, 8 more Mutas are on the way. We'll be going up to 19 Mutalisk as well. So +1 attack is coming for Vanya for his melee units. I don't think he will need to wait for it, as he jumps on top of these Immortals. 3 do end up falling. Archon falls. Bells raining down on top of the Zealots. And this is just looking very, very bad here for Neeb, who is in a worse economical position. We have 10 gases for Vanya of 67 workers, which means his mineral income actually isn't that high. It's funny to see. But I mean, his Mutalisk count is going to be very high. As right now, once again, we have 19 Mutalisks just jumping and trading. You know you're in a good spot as the Muta player if you can trade 1 Muta for a Stalker and be happy with it. Jumping up top of the Phoenixes now, as there's really nothing here in the natural to defend. There's nothing in the 3rd to defend either. Single Immortal stays alive against these Ravagers. GG gets called as Vanya wins this series 2-1. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and smash the like button, as that helps me a lot. And I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.